Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Iolande Argent Show. I am the host, Iolande V. Argent, and if you give me just a moment, we're gonna, I'm like way close up. On today's show, we will be speaking with Lisa Guice, who has just joined us in the area there. Hi, Lisa. Oh, you're muted. Hold on. You're muted. Okay, there you go. Gotta love the mute button, don't you? All right, so as I was telling everybody, you were going to be joined by you, and you are going to have the privilege of introducing yourself to everybody, because I know you from the Women's Virtual Success Summit. So now we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff.
Awesome. I am Lisa Guice, your self-relationship expert, your author, your Be Great Now coach, and I am so just grateful to Iolande for allowing me to come on and speak about my book and just share my vision and my mission with her listeners.
Great. I'm happy to have you here. And oh, you know what? Go ahead. Do you have your book? Oh, put the
I
book
do.
Show the cover. Okay. Do you see that cover? Is that not a gorgeous cover? Hold on. Keep it up there. Let me stop talking.
You're just a quote away from your greatness. Inspirational tools to fuel you on your journey to greatness.
Great. That is a gorgeous cover.
Thank you. I love it. I actually, I had 3 different versions of my cover. And what I did was I just put it out on Facebook to all of my followers and said, hey guys, these are the 3 covers that I'm thinking about. Which one would you choose? So my followers they're actually the ones that chose this cover. So I just take pride in that because they were in from the beginning with me on the journey.
You know what, that speaks volumes, and that's something that you see the bigger companies do. It's sort of like take a survey, so to speak. But you use your followers that were already following you and let them be a part. And, how good did that make them feel to say, hey, I voted for that cover?
You know what? It really brought about a support base from the beginning because they were like, I remember months ago when you put that out there, and some people were like, I don't like this one. Oh, don't use that one at all. Just throw that one out. It's between this and this, and So I mean, they really got involved in the process. And so when I actually held the book up for the first time to say, look what I just received, they were ecstatic, and they were just like, oh my gosh, when can we get a copy? And I said, oh, believe me when I tell you, they will be delivered this week, and go ahead and place your orders. And they were really in from the beginning. So it really made a difference.
Okay. You know what? This isn't actually a show on how to market and successfully. However, we just turned it into one because she did something that we tell people who have a book or a product or even a service. You need that list. You must have that tribe. You must engage with your tribe. As you can see why you engage with that tribe, because what did you get? You got some pre-orders, and you had people who saw it and then they really ordered.
Yeah, they did. And not only that, but I think that for me, I was confused, really. I'm going to be honest, because I loved all 3 covers. So I was confused, and I was thinking, how am I going to decide? Because, I was in the picture, so I couldn't see the frame. And I needed someone on the outside to take a look and say, hey, I know you like this one, but this is why the other one would be better. And so once I started to receive that feedback, it just made the process so much more smoother, because I was literally thinking to myself, it's going to take me months to convince myself, which one I should choose. So they made it so simple for me. And again, not only did they make it simple for me, they also guided me, because there was originally, let me show you this. You see how we have this here, the subline? This was originally up here. And so part of the feedback that I received is, in their loving way, do something with that top line, just get rid of it. I don't know, just do something, but don't leave it there. So then I went back to my designer and I said, is there a way that we can remove the top line? Nobody likes that top line there. And let's kind of swerve it a little bit around the face. And so we kind of played around with that. And when I came back with that version, they were like, yes, that's it, that's it, that's it. So they actually, were a major part in designing the cover as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And that's a good thing. And again, it comes back to, if you engage with your tribe, then you have sales. And I love that. Yeah, do something with that top line. Yeah.
Get rid of that. That don't look good right there.
It ain't working. Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do, but do something.
Exactly. But see, that brings us to a point, because you were engaged and because they felt, hey, this person's trusting my opinion. Oh, wait, they took my advice. They moved that. Oh, wait, that's a good place to put it. You know what I mean? You actually engaged with them, and that is how it's so powerful when it comes to branding and brand marketing. And people don't even think of doing that when it comes to books. And you're thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, is that not a product? Is that not something you're trying to sell? Or did you just write that because, you wanted to see what it felt like to have your name written on the cover of a book?
Yeah.
But it's so true. People do it all the time. They just want to say, I wrote a book, and then they'll pay out all kinds of money to do that. And then I'm like, but you have all these books sitting here. What are you going to do with them now?
Yeah, well, it definitely was not my plan nor mission to just write, because it took a lot for me to write this book, especially during the time in which I wrote the book, which was, and I shared with you the other day, my mom had been diagnosed with breast cancer. And that was at a time when I was working on something completely different. And I knew that by taking her to her appointments and things like that, that I would not be able to work on the other project. And so she ended up having a bad reaction to chemo. So sometimes we would be there from 7 to 4. Getting a little choked up here. From 7 to 4. And I just said, Lord, I know that there's a reason, and I need you to reveal it to me immediately, because I'm going to need something to hold on to during this process to give me strength. And he revealed to me through actually a challenge of one of my mentors. He revealed to me that while you're sitting there, write a book. I want you to write a book. And this particular book wasn't even the book that I thought I was going to be writing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing how in life you think you have control over things, and then you realize that you have control over nothing. You have control over nothing. So I was actually working on another book that I thought was going to be my first book, and that book was called Diary of a Baggage Carrier. It's literally almost complete. I think I have like maybe 1 or 2 more chapters, and it's done. And so for me to do all that work, and then, God is like, that's not the one. That's not the one that you're going to do. And I'm thinking, I have to write a book from scratch. What? I have to start over? What is going on? So, I took a look around as she was getting her treatment. I'm just looking at all of the people who are going through this treatment, and they're smiling, and they're saying hi, and they're just still loving life. And it just hit me. There's so many of us who one little thing happens and we're like, oh, I can't pursue that dream. I stubbed my toe this morning, just anything, any reason we can come up with not to pursue our dreams, we will hold on to them for dear life, right?
Right.
So it dawned on me like, wow, these people are in here, they're fighting for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
They are still smiling. They're still showing up. Because they could give up, but they're still showing up and saying, I'm going to fight. And so I started thinking about all the obstacles that you go through on your journey to greatness and on your journey to pursue your dream. And I said, I get it. That's what I'm supposed to be writing about right now. So I literally drew from everyone in the, all the nurses and the patients. I just looked every day, just looked around and just drew from them exactly what I needed to put into this book.
Okay, well, there we go. Okay. That's funny that you would say that you wrote this one before you wrote the other one, because if you think about it, it wasn't so much that you weren't supposed to write the other one. The other one makes sense to follow this one because that's so true. What do we say? You stubbed your toe. We all got baggage. Trust me. I have so many different sets of Samsonite. It ain't. Okay, it's in storage. You hear me? I'm paying storage fees on my Samsonites. But and it's true. But so you needed to write the inspirational one about people who haven't given up on life versus you got to get that one out there before you start talking about, because in all honesty, it gives you more clarity about what carrying baggage is. I'm not saying that your story may be about people who are carrying around,
No, that's the premise. That's the premise.
Oh, see, there you go. See, there you go. Okay. But you have the one over here where these people are going through some major stuff. I mean, that's a major baggage. You're going through, and you got chemo was not fun. Chemo was ugly.
Yes.
And then, but they're still showing up. They're still turning up. They still going through that. Matter of fact, I think chemo is probably more painful than, going through the cancer from what I've been told. That's not a fun process.
It's not at all.
Still showing up, trying to hold on and, say, I'm claiming my life. I'm fighting for this little moment. And then you have the folks who are carrying around baggage and, give up on, the least little thing happens, they give up. Or even worse, they're the kind that every time they try something, there's a wall that slams down. So then you got to go around that wall. And then there's a bridge that shows up, and then the bridge caves in. And then now you got to learn how to swim. And now you're in here bubbling up and down the river. And while you're doing that, you can hit a rock or two. I hate to say it, I think I'm one of those people. Every time you try to do something, there's always some obstacle that you got to overcome. And it just eventually, how much of it is baggage and what do you learn from it? So I think it was that you were meant to write them in a certain order. You were just out of order.
I was all out of order, huh?
I see.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna continue to be out of order because God has brought me a different one. He's saying still don't release that one. So he has me writing another one from scratch. And I'm like, really?
Again?
But hey, I've learned over the years that my way never takes me where I'm trying to go. So just be obedient and ride the wave.
Well, if you look, you got to look at it a little differently. Your way takes you to exactly where you need to go. It's just you were on the wrong journey to get there. I mean, how many different roads can we take to get to a specific spot? You just may have been you were on the avenue when you needed to be on the boulevard. And when you weren't supposed to be on the boulevard, you were supposed to be on the drive. And then and you got to get up you went up in the court. Now you got to turn around and come back out.
And what that to me it means is that I'm in the driver's seat trying to drive instead of sitting in the passenger seat or in the back seat, letting him drive. So, I'm trying to get better at just letting him drive and just, going where he tells me to go, because whenever I do that, I get where I want to be even faster.
Right. That's true. I'd rather be in the passenger seat, though. I hate being a backseat driver. It's no fun. No, come on now. We've all been in the car. Now this is true. You have been in the car with that person, and darn good as well. I don't care how much their GPS is telling them they're going the wrong way. And so the minute you try to correct that, then all of a sudden you're being the know-it-all. And then they get worse when they find that you're right. Like it's your fault that the GPS was wrong. So I'll be the passenger, because at least the passenger is expected to be the navigator. So that's good. So what kind of fun things are you having fun with the book? Now, did you self-publish this book or did you go through a publisher?
I did not. I do actually have a publisher. And so one of the things that was really wonderful is it was I didn't really know how I was going to facilitate it, but what I ended up doing for my release, normally I would have had this big release and invited everybody, but because at that time my mom was once I released it, she was healing from the surgery and everything. I wanted to make sure that she was definitely a part of the celebration. because she was, for one, the inspiration for the book, and then two, she saw the journey. She was there with me, you know. So what I did was I decided to host a private book launching in my home, and I had very close friends and family, and it was just wonderful to be able to have her there, you know, and celebrate the launch with us, and everybody just loved on her. So the book launch, and then I've done a lot of promotion of the book, different author features and things like that. So, oh, that's my office phone. I'm sorry, I didn't put it on mute. It would ring now, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm surprised mine hasn't rang. I understand.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay. But yeah, we're busy folk. We're busy, so the phones ring. It happens. But it's true. It's very true. So did she like the celebration?
Oh, she loved it. And like I said, everybody was loving on her because they knew the reason why I was having it in my home, and that she was the inspiration behind the book. So she got a lot of attention that day. She loved it.
That's nice. That's nice. So is this your first book or your?
This is my first book. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My first one.
There you go. So now that you've had the official launch, what are you going to do now?
So now what I'm going to do, we're actually getting ready to put it out on Amazon, and my publisher said that should be done by next week. We're going to put it out on Amazon. We're going to release one of the chapters as a free download ebook, so that everybody can kind of get a taste of exactly what the book is about, because I am certified in seminars and presentations. So anything I do, there is work to be done. You're not just going to read and think you're just going to read and that's it. We're going to do some work. So in the book, I have my quote, and then I have a summary of the quote, and then I have the action towards greatness for you to do for every single quote, so that you can actually put the work in to help you on your journey and kind of pull you through the process of eliminating each obstacle all the way up until the end, where you can then be released to go ahead and walk into your greatness. So there's some work to be done in this book. I've had people contact me and send me messages on Facebook. This book is too real. I can't handle it. Oh my gosh, I'm not ready to answer this question. And, you know, just different things like that, because if you have a conversation with me and you tell me that there's an issue and you share with me what that issue is, I'm going to just put it out there. Okay, how do we solve it? What do we need to do? So that's exactly the approach that I take in the book. What do we need to do? This was a problem, and it may still be a problem. Okay, are you going to let it continue to be a problem? No? Okay, well then we need to come up with a resolution. Let's make it happen. So that's my approach throughout the entire book. I am not interested in let me jumping in there and wallowing around with you in the misery. Nope, we're not doing that. We are here to take ourselves to the next level, and we are here to see you actually walk into the life that you deserve.
Okay. Are you going to be doing any live readings or pieces of the book and walking them through, maybe as a step, as sort of like a little bonus to help them?
Yeah, we're gonna do a Facebook Live on that. We're trying to solidify the date now because I have so many other commitments that I already have on the book. So we're trying to figure out the date for the Facebook Live event to just come, like you said, walk them through maybe a few of the quotes and summaries and kind of give them some inspiration and guide them through that way. But I'm also, like for example, on September 17th, which is next weekend, I have my How to Claim Your Greatness No Matter What workshop. So that's another thing that I'm doing. I'm actually doing workshops teaching them how to claim their greatness, but the workshops are based on the book. So they get a copy of the book as part of the workshop, and we're literally going through it. I'm walking them through it. We're working it out. We're crying, whatever we need to do. We're doing it in the workshops. So my ultimate dream would be for me to, of course, travel the world to just teach everybody and have a workshop for everybody. But we're starting in Arizona first, and we're gonna go from there.
Okay. Well, you got to start someplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One foot in front of the other. You got to start someplace. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your writer's process. Now we know how that one got written, but that's not normally how you write.
No, it is not. Normally what I do is I am there's a lot of people who say, oh, do things in advance. Like, for example, posts and different things like that. I'm one of those people, it's very difficult for me to do it in advance. And the reason being is because I wait for a download. I have to receive it. And I always ask to be a vessel because there's somebody out there that's in need of something. And I want to be the vessel that can help them possibly be inspired that day or be empowered to overcome something. So for me, I'm really in tune. For my writing process, it has to be a very quiet place. I need a lot of quiet time, a lot of me time to just get in tune with what the needs of others might be. And with that, I just write. I don't worry about punctuation. I don't worry about anything. I just get the thoughts out onto the paper. And once the thoughts are out on the paper, then I go back and kind of sift through it and say, okay, this is something. Piece this with this. Oh, that's something, But I just like to I like more of a free flowing perspective. Just let it flow. Whatever comes up, let it come out.
Sorry, but you didn't want to hear me having a discussion with my secretary cat. But no, that's actually good. Some people, they have that technique, and you've perfected yours. You got to wait for the download.
You have to wait for the download.
Yeah, and you know what? You also touched upon another good point that we want to exercise to the writers out there. Just get it out of your head and onto the paper. You can always go back and edit and put punctuation and just go. If it's one long run-on sentence, you'll get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, for years, I struggled with that because that was the perfectionist side of me. And so literally it would take me all day to write nothing, is what I would always say. It took me all day to write nothing. So because I was too busy, oh, wait a minute, I spelled that word wrong. Oh, wait a minute, let me put that punctuation. Oh, wait. And by that time, your creative flow has been interrupted. So once I spoke with a friend who had published her book, and I said, oh my gosh, I so admire the fact that you were able to complete the book. And I explained to her what I was stuck on, and she said, oh girl, quit worrying about that. You just let it flow and go back and correct all that stuff later. And I said, really? Is it that simple? And she's like, yeah, go try it. And I tried it, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this all I had to do? What was I thinking? She's like, don't worry about that. So now I don't worry about it. I just write. And I believe that I'm in my zhuzh right now.
That's true. What I recommend with people, have people that do like you were doing, it's like, they have these things. They're called recorders. Just turn on the recorder on the computer or use your phone or whatever you want to use. I just let them do it on the computer because it'll type it out for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done, getting that flow out, you can go back and correct what it typed. It's already done the typing for you. You just need to go back or hire someone to read through it and tighten it up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I have an app, and it's called Color Note. Mm-hmm. I have Android, and that allows me to speak also, and it'll get it out for me. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Because your brain typically works faster than you can type anyway. So just go ahead and speak it and then sort it all out later.
And that's actually a very good point because people do spend so much time trying to punctuate and trying to get the right I and the dot and wait. Should that be a colon or a semicolon or?
Let me look it up. Let me look that up and see what's
exactly. When can I use a comma? Is that an independent clause? Come on. Right. And and people do. They get in the way of their own writing. And they get in the way of their own creativity. And, it affects business too.
Yeah.
If you keep coming up with excuses, like you said, I just spent all day doing nothing. The only achievement you managed to achieve is another excuse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're going on Amazon. Is it also going to be available on Barnes and Noble? So for those who have the Kindle and the Nook and all of that?
She's actually in the process of implementing all of that. So, you know, I let her handle that side. That's what she was paid for. So
It's like I'm the creator.
yes, like, you know, I don't want to jump into somebody else's lane and then, you know, there goes your creativity all over again, getting stuck because you're focusing on other stuff, right?
Right. So yeah, now another point. Let's talk about how you've met. Like you said, you're staying in your lane because you're the creative one, and you have a partner that does the other side. Now, is this somebody that you always worked with, or is this somebody you partnered with after you've written the book, or how did you meet your partner?
I actually met her I went to, because I go out here in Arizona, there's a plethora of different expos and different events and things like that to go to. So I'm really outgoing, and I believe that if I take the time to go somewhere, then I need to walk away meeting somebody, you know. So I actually just approached her and started talking to her and then listening to some of the things that she was saying, and we just clicked. And I had known her probably a year before. She would always ask me, when is that book going to be finished? But she was talking about the other book.
She didn't know.
She didn't know. I didn't know. So she's like, when is that book going to be finished? Because it took me so long to write the other book. And in part because in the other book, I'm revealing some personal things. And so yeah, you know, so when you're dealing with some personal stuff, you know, you need to take a moment to breathe. I mean, I had gained 15 pounds writing that book. I said, I better put this book down.
So you got real personal.
Yeah, I said, "Ooh, wait a minute, it's too much. I gotta wait." So, but she would always ask me, like, you know, she would text me, "Are you done?" Well, you know, she wanted me to like produce it within a month or two, and I'm thinking, okay, this is not that type of book. So, when I started writing this one, I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her at all because I said, if I tell her, she's gonna start texting me about this book, so I'm not even gonna say anything. So, when I finally contacted her about the book, I said, "Hey, I'm ready to, you know, have you take a look at a book." She's like, "Oh, you finally finished?" I said, "No, I'm not done with the one you're thinking. It's another one." And she was thinking, "What?" And I said, "Well, let's just meet up and, you know, talk about it." So I met up with her, talked about it. We worked out the financial side of it. And I told her, I said, I already have, by the time I contacted her, the book was completely written. I had already had the cover done and everything. So literally I handed her a finished product. All I needed her to do was to, you know, the ISBN and all that stuff like that. Just, you know, do that back end stuff for me. And so we were ready to rock and roll probably within, I would say within 30 days after I contacted her.
Okay. And so you had a finished product, and so she has her own publishing company.
Yeah, she has her own publishing company.
Okay, well that's good though. You know, how many people go with a finished product to a publisher?
Yeah, when she originally sent over her contract, it had all this stuff in there. I'm like, I don't need any of that. I need you to send me my own individual contract, because the contract that you're sending me doesn't pertain to what I'm presenting. So she had to literally draw up something else for me because her contracts include everything, you know, because typically when you go to your publisher, you're starting from ground zero. So I said, no, I'm done. I'm ready to just hand it to you and let you do all that back end, and let's put it on.
Right. Okay, which are there any tips that you would like to give to maybe a new writer when they do what you just did with the publisher?
One of the tips that I would definitely 100% like to give, I just had a client contact me, and I'm helping him to completely revamp his book cover and his whole strategy around his book. So one of the things that I had to tell him from the beginning is, do not give up your rights. He had given up his rights to his book, and he was with another publisher. So he was unhappy with what was being done for him, but he couldn't leave because they had the rights to his book. So I said, never give up your intellectual property, ever, ever, ever. You negotiate that. You make sure it's in writing in your contract, which mine is in writing in my contract, that I have the rights to my book. So if anything were to just anything were to happen, or I just decided, you know what, I just want to take it someplace else. I think they can relaunch it and do something else. I don't have to wait. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is just contact her and let her know, thank you, but I'm going to take the book elsewhere and move on.
Right.
That would be my number one tip. Never give up your intellectual property rights. Always maintain those. And that goes with anything that you're doing. If it's a book, if you're writing, if you're making a workbook, if you're writing an article, whatever it is you're doing, make sure you retain the rights.
Right. Because so many people do that, and they're just like, when they get an offer from the big six, everybody freaks out. Oh my God, I want to be published by a Random House or Schuster, and they want to look at my next couple of books. Who owns those books? Do they own those books, or do you own those books? And they look at you with that, deer in the headlight thing. And you're like, if they own the rights to the books, they now own you for the next however many years it takes you to write those books.
Yeah.
And that means you can't write for anybody else.
And not only that, but just, as a writer, you when you're writing on those pages, you're pouring a piece of yourself onto the page. And to pour a piece of yourself onto the page and then say, here, all my hard work, all my thoughts, here you go, they're yours. That has the tendency to leave a bad taste in your mouth. And that's the reason why I believe a lot of people who are great writers, who would be great authors, don't do it, because they've been tainted somewhere along the way, because they didn't understand the importance of holding on to their intellectual property rights.
Right. And they don't realize they can actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they're just happy for the opportunity.
Exactly.
But I'm a firm believer that what is for you is for you. And if an opportunity presents itself and it's not mutually beneficial, then you'll be okay. God will bring you another one. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I still have to tell writers this, and even though they've self-published and they've got their own fan following and they're doing really well, I get a kick out of them. It's like, oh my gosh, I was approached by this publisher. So they need your audience? And then they look at me and they're like, but it's the truth. I mean, think about it. Now, if you have just sat there and told me you sold 1 million books, okay? You sold 1 million copies of a book on your own. You self-published. You did everything. You got your own ISBN. You got your LCCN number. You've got, you got several ISBN numbers, because you have to have one for your audio, one for your ebook, one for your, you got to get one for all of them. So you did all of that, and you sold 1 million of them at whatever price point you've done. And then you got some publishers like, oh yeah, I got a contract for you, wavy, wavy, wavy. So if the people who believed in me wanted to read anything by any of your authors, guess what they would have done? They would have bought something by one of your authors. I don't need to bring you my 1 million people who bought something, because my 1 million people are waiting on me to write my next seller, so they can it'll be 2 million. Yeah. Why am I bringing my people to you?
But one of the things that reminds me so much of the record business, music, back in the day, that was the big thing. If you got a contract from one of the major labels, then the whole independent label came about. And once people started to do that, the major labels were like, hey, wait a minute, they've sold all of these CDs and without us, what's going on? So now they're approaching you, but it puts you in a position of power. And you just have to recognize and understand your power. So here you are, you sold, like you said, the 1 million copies, and you don't have to come to the table from the perspective of, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. You come to the table with the perspective of, yes, I sold 1 million copies, and what can you do for me? Right.
I'm sorry, because I'm not giving up my 1 million people. Yeah. My 1 million people are here for me. They my 1 million people. Yeah. I work for this. You didn't work for any of them. And and you think just because I'm going to sign that contract, I'm bringing my people with me. No. My people, not your people, because my people could have bought it from you anytime. And you're right. Same thing happened with the record industry.
Yeah, and you know, but you again, you live and learn. And for those who that you know, you never know, that may have been that person's desire all their lives. I just want to be on a major label, or you know, sign with a major publisher. And so when they come a calling, they're thinking my prayers have been answered finally.
That's usually what I hear. I do hear that a lot. And then I'm like, that's fine. Just make sure you don't let your people stay with that publisher, because when you're done, what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
You could have had a book and not realize that. See, the problem with the publishers going with that is their job is not to push your book. Their job, I mean, fine. If you have those million people that see that you've gone over and they buy it, that's great. Then they may push you because those million people still bought that book. But those same million people would have bought it no matter who you published with.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if those million people aren't willing to buy from that company, your book is going to sit there and you're going to look up and it's going to turn up in the Dollar Tree. How many people, we've seen those books, we know what we're talking about, have ended up in the dollar stores. And how disheartening is that for you now that you made such a big issue out of being published by this place, but yet still your book has been thrown over in the dollar bin. That's not cool.
No.
But we try. We can only warn you so far, but then you got to do what you got to do, like you say. You got to learn.
Yeah, the misconception behind being published too, like you said, they think, I'm published and now, that's the holy grail. Well, that's when the real work starts.
Well, yeah. Will somebody please tell me who told them that the giant publishing companies market them? Will somebody please tell me who told them that? I'm sorry that you're still, laboring under the misconception that, oh, well, L. Ron Hubbard or God rest her, Miss Joan Collins' sister, Jackie Collins, and all of them. You do realize that the only reason Jackie Collins was marketable was because Joan Collins was on television every week, right? It has nothing to do with whether or not she was a good writer. It was only because her sister was on TV every night for how many years. They published her because she was the sister, not because she was that, I'm sure she's a great writer. I've never read anything she wrote, but I'm just saying she could have been a great well-published author beforehand, but who knew about her?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep in mind, when they start marketing those people, there's a reason those people are marketed. It means that somebody in their family knows somebody that's on television or in a movie.
Yeah. Any company, they never push you without there being a reason for it. So, the majority of authors, and myself included, once you put your book out, it's up to you to get your book out there.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And
that's true. And that's the fun part. I get a kick out of watching a lot of authors. See, you're already certified, so you're a webinar woman. You know what we're talking about. We live for this. We live to be in front of people and talk and do our thing. Most writers are so cute. They're like, we're introverts. You cannot be that introverted. You're a writer. If you were an introvert, you would have been a computer programmer. You cannot be. I don't know why they say that, but we don't like marketing.
That's comfort. That's their, please don't push me to do anything I'm not comfortable with.
Okay, and then I have to remind them, correct me if I'm wrong, what industry did you go in? You went into the literary industry. You obviously had some reason, whether you're talking a personal story or whether you had a kid's book. You wrote a kid's book. You obviously had a reason for writing a kid's book. You couldn't have been too introverted. Yeah. You wrote a book for little tiny people that are all over the place. You know what I'm saying? You can't be introverted if you're writing for little tiny folk.
Yeah.
Anybody who works with little tiny people, y'all teachers, you know what I'm talking about. You are not introverted. There's no such thing. So quit using that word. You know darn well that's not the right word. But they kill me. I don't want to market. What do you mean you don't want to market? Who is going to be able to talk about your book better than you?
Yeah, and not only that, but then what will end up happening is if you do allow someone else to push your book, your reader is not getting to know you, number one. And number two, it's your journey. It's your journey. So why wouldn't you want to be a part of your own journey? You want to be on the sidelines of your journey?
No.
Like, really?
I'm not I am the coach, but that's a whole nother show. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. If I wrote a cute little kid's book, I can only tell you why the kids' book got written. I can tell you why. It's my, you know what I'm saying? If I wrote a romance novel, I can pretty much tell you how the romance novel got written.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can do that better than you can. So I hate to tell you, you started marketing the minute you decided to become a writer.
Unless you just want to write, and put it on your shelf.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the ones who spend all that money to pay for a book being published, and you got to buy how many copies of that when you do it that way, and now you're stuck with all these copies, and you just want to put it on your shelf.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, there's too many hobbies out there I could spend money on. That one is not going to be one of them.
There's too many massages I could go get.
That's what I'm saying. I don't get the pedicure, manicure, a little facials, a massage. That's what I'm saying, because that's an expensive hobby right there.
Yeah. One of the things I did want to do, though, I wanted to share with your audience one of my favorite quotes of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can read it, is that okay?
Go ahead. Yes. Yes.
Okay. It says, holding on to the past allows the person who hurt you to have a permanent imprint on your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so often we forget and we give our power over to the person that has hurt us. And so I really wanted to make sure that I addressed that in the book, that, when you do that, when you hold on to that, you're still giving that person power. You remove them from your life, supposedly, but they're actually still there because they're still steering your direction, your thoughts, your emotions, and everything that you encounter. They're still robbing you of, pursuing things because you're playing in your head the negative things that they've said to you. You've allowed them into your internal hard drive, even though you remove them from your life. So you have to make a conscious decision to not only remove them physically from your life, but to also remove them from your internal hard drive.
Right. You know what? Valid point. You need to just say to yourself, you're going to be hanging out of my real estate. I'm going to start charging you rent.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's true. And I hate to say this, people, you're going to get your hardest criticism from your relatives, and your family members are going to hit you first. So that's true wisdom right there, because it is going to, more than likely, it's going to be somebody that you were involved with.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, even, you want to remove them, you got to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's powerful. That's really powerful. Well, before we run out of time, I suppose we should do the thing. That thing we have to do, where you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you or get in contact with you, or if they have questions and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Well, you can get a hold of me on all social media. I am Lisa Guice. Guice is spelled Guice. I always say juice with a G. That's the simplest way for people to get it. But I am Lisa Guice on all social media. Feel free to follow me. Feel free to reach out to me. You can also go on my website, which is www.lisaguice.com, and you can send me a message on there. You can also, I have I'm giving a free download away of 5 steps that you can do to be great right now. So that's on the front cover or front page of my website. And that's for free. Go grab it because they are priceless steps that you can do to be great right now. Again, for right now, you can purchase the book on lisaguice.com as well. And I will announce on the website when the Amazon release happens.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's always fun. We have so much fun.
I know.
At least this time we didn't have to do the whole camera fighting thing.
I know. And you know what? I was all prepared for it. I had a folder in the back of the camera just in case it didn't come on with me in the front.
Oh, that's just okay. See, I love it. I totally love it. Oh man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy books. Are you touring now? Are you're starting, right?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to book some dates. I want to go to California. I'm originally from California, so I'm looking to try to do some things out that way.
Okay. She's doing a book tour in the opposite direction since she's in Arizona.
Well, no, because I'm already done several spots here. I have stuff already lined up here, so I need to start.
Yeah, well, I was thinking if you come back to Cali and you can start at SoCal, then you can come up north and you can come by and say hi, and then take it up north and then go that way and then go over.
Okay, I'm going to call you for you to map out my schedule.
I can do that. You have no idea. But if you think about it, how many people say they're going to start something and they go the other way? They go east first, and then Cali is always the last thing anybody ever comes to see. It's like, y'all should come here first.
Yeah, I was born and raised Cali. I have to come to Cali.
Yeah, you got to come to Cali. Yeah. Well, you're from NorCal.
Yeah.
So see, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you got to come up here and say hi to us in North Cal. Yes, okay, fine. SoCal, she can say hi to y'all too. Okay, well, we're going to end our session right now. And is there anything else you want to part out?
No, I just want to encourage everybody to step out and pursue and live their dreams, walk in their greatness. In this life, you can be committed to so many things. Why not be loyal to your greatness?
Absolutely. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on this edition of the Iolande Argent Show. And we will see you again on the next edition.
Bye.